Welcome, everybody, to Thirsty Thursday. My name is Matt. Sometimes I go by the Grass Factor. And alongside me, I have my co-host, Ryan Raito. Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
I don't know. That sounds like you're debuting or auditioning for the strip club announcer. All right, guys, we got Macy on the main stage. Cinnamon's over here on the side stage. Be sure to chip. It's a 2-drink minimum. That's kind of that's the vibe I got right there. But
Tandy is new this week, and she's going to be laying it down to us with a new Usher track. Let's see you do your best, Tandy. It was a terrible voice. I don't know why I did that. Ray, how are you, sir? How you doing?
I'm good.
Have you managed to keep off any terrorist watch lists over the last 7 days that you're aware of? Well, I guess we spoke on Sunday last, so between Sunday and 9 p.m. Eastern, have you managed to stay off any
I don't know.
watch lists?
I suspect that, I'm probably totally red flagged, and they're going to assume that, oh, Lord, this guy is some kind of a rabid redneck. I mean, they're going to assume that, and then they're going to see me, and they're going to be like, "What the hell?"
There's going to be a real weird day when the FBI kicks in Ray's door, and they expect to find me behind the door, and then they find an Asian man there who's just ornery as absolute hell, and they're going to be like, "Boy, this was not what we anticipated."
Yeah, but you see, what I always say is that you don't need to be 6 foot something, 250 pounds to blow shit up.
What's going to be even weirder is that if they kicked in my door, they'd see a bunch of Asian food everywhere. They kick in Ray's door, and they're going to see a bunch of like country food everywhere. It's going to be like biscuits and gravy and all kinds of like Southern soul food just laying around. They're like, none of this makes sense.
Yeah.
And they're going to kick in DeMay's door, and they're going to be like, "Look, you need to get a hold of your guys, okay? You need to bring them back to reality. They're getting a little too out there."
You see, it's going to be like the day when I'm having brunch, biscuits and gravy and coffee, and knock, knock, knock. And I'm like, "Yeah? What do you want?"
Sorry, wrong house. We did not mean to be here. So we are going to have a couple things here. A couple things I want to get out of the way. Dino Sport Dan, who, by the way, welcome to the Discord, Dino Sport Dan, says, "What is the GIE? Will all the YouTubers be there?" And without a doubt, if you go to the GIE this year, also known as the Equipment Expo, and you go in there, there will be no shortage of cameras all over the place in selfie mode, pointing at themselves as they tour the various exhibits and equipment.
Look at
setups.
me,
And the narcissism will just be flowing like wine at a Catholic mass. But if you do not feel like subjecting yourself to that, then by all means, you find yourself in Louisville and you're looking for an escape, then you can come hang out with us. Now, I will tell you is that we were actually going to put on like a real event. Of course you can bring a gun. It's still Louisville. Don't be ridiculous. And by the way, I'll bring mine, and then we can see whose is bigger, because I'm into that kind of thing. I'll touch mine if you let me touch yours. I mean, I'll touch yours if you. What? I'll let you touch mine if I can touch it. Did I say that right? I'm sorry.
Yeah. JPink, last year, he told me he was coming to pick me up, and at the airport, right? And I told him, "Okay, JPink, I'm going to be mildly disappointed if I don't see the gun rack in, across the back window of the tundra."
Maybe this year that will be the latest addition to JPink's truck, is putting a shotgun rack in the back of it. And hey, JPink, I have an AR platformed 12 gauge, And if we just want to roll around with that back there and count how many times we go to jail through the course of the week, we can do that as well too.
You can keep it.
Okay, all right. Maybe we won't do that.
Yeah, don't.
So, but if you do want to come hang out, I'll tell you right now. I think JPink threw up the statistic that we are 84% full right now. So
God bless.
we launched it a week ago, and we are 84% full. And I'll tell you now, we are going to put on a live show, and it's going to be an actual production where we'll have stage and sound and TVs and monitors and drinks and food. And it's a very real event, and you get to see a lot of the people here in the chat that hang out with us. And of course, Ray, Ryan, JPink, myself will be there. My wife will be there. Several of the members' wives are going to be there as well too. So if you're worried about bringing along a lady friend, by all means, bring along a lady friend, and the ladies can have people to talk to and drink copious amounts of white wine or lemon drops or whatever it is they drink and
No
talk girl
way,
stuff while
no way.
we talk about the horrific things that we talk about. So it's going to
Actually-
be a great time. Patreon.com/burn and return to learn more about that.
I suspect that Asami is going to show the ladies a great time.
Asami
Yeah,
is looking forward
yeah.
to this. I told her that the woman count is going to be up exponentially compared to last year, and she is already like beaming at the thought of being able to offer an escape for all the wives that have been subjected to our bullshit over the last however long that we've been doing this. And so it's not just a meeting of the guys where we get to go dad around and yell at one another and play grab ass or touch each other's guns or whatever it is that we're going to be doing. It's also going to be an opportunity for the women to commiserate and co-sign each other's bullshit about what kind of ridiculous ass people we are at the end of the day. So it's a win-win for everybody involved. Patreon.com/burn and return if you want to learn more about our live show. Now, our guest of the evening, unfortunately, was not going to be able to make it tonight, and that is no problem. Things happen. Life gets in the way, and we are no harm, no foul there. I've certainly missed my fair share of episodes. So, in lieu of pivot, in lieu of doing our scheduled show, we are going to pivot and do our call-in show. So if Justin Dawson from Canada is watching right now is one of the times that you can call in, because when we have a guest on is the time that you cannot call in. Do you hear me, bud? So if you would like to call in, 304-804-7277, that's 304-8047-ASS, or feel free to type a question into the chat and we will get to it as we can. And we are going to try to keep this to a pretty tight 1 hour and then get on to the after show because DeMay has a big day tomorrow. Ray has a big day tomorrow. I have a big day tomorrow. And so we're going to try and condense as much information into this as absolutely possible. But we're only going to be able to condense as much information in this as questions that we get. So feel free to call in. Or in the meantime, we'll kick this off right here. Gary Evans says, gentlemen, does PPZ, Azoxy, or Armada work better with a surfactant? If so, non-ionic, MSO, or other? Go ahead and answer that, JPink.
Caller, please hold.
Can you please hold? Caller.
Not yourself. Hold the line. Okay. Go ahead, Matt.
So does PPZ, Azoxy, Armada work better with or without a surfactant? If so, non-ionic, MSO, or other? What is y'all's take on this? I have a strong opinion about this, but I want to hear yours first.
Okay.
Hell yeah!
Usually,
Oh, they hung up on us.
Yeah,
They're still there.
dang.
They're still there.
Okay.
Oh.
Usually, my surfactant for a fungicide is what's known as an acidifying, buffering, non-ionic surfactant. Conversely, I wouldn't recommend doing methylated seed oil or what's known as a silicone-based surfactant with fungicides. And the reason why is with something like azoxystrobin, or even the propiconazole, for example, there are warnings regarding surfactants and adverse phytotoxic effects from addition of the wrong kind of surfactant. So I've had no trouble using, for example, 1 quart per 100 gallons of something like Li 700 in the spray solution.
So my opinion on this is that you can. I'll give you a pro tip, and that you can open the label in a PDF form on your phone pretty easily. You can open the search function, and typically, like on Android, you'll hit the 3 dots and then hit Find and Page, and then you can type in the word surfactant and look what's recommended. And if it's recommended, do so according to what's recommended by the label. If it's not there, don't worry about it. The addition of a surfactant when it is not recommended, typically, and I'm going to use that word typically, unless you're in a very, very specific requirement for extremely high performance, you are likely not to see enough of a significant impact to make a difference to you. Now, the difference being is that Ray is going to have the kind of eye that he can see the most nuanced difference in turf grasses that I apologize, homeowners, that you're probably not going to see just due to the sheer volume of acreage that's been analyzed. And it's just an experience thing that develops over the course of, and it's funny the way it evolves from 2 years to 5 years to 10 years, the way you see things as you look out across the field. And you'll notice, you'll even see it you'll start to buy sunglasses based on the way that it helps to see or not see. Like, for instance, I always wore blue blockers because I swear I could see early onset of issues in the turf prior to the development of it, of not wearing them and being able to see it, right? So anyway, the point being is that normally in most homeowner type situations, it's not going to be enough of a significant difference to justify the added cost unless the label specifically states you should add it. That's my opinion. How about them apples?
I've never seen any benefit to adding them. I've played around with this for 15 years on the golf course, and again, this is just my opinion, turf truth. If you prove me wrong, please do. There was a product out, probably about 10 years ago. It's still out. I just looked it up. See if it's still out there, but Sync, which is from Precision Labs.
Yeah.
You know, they had some good trials out there that showed a slight increase in efficacy in both, not necessarily efficacy, but duration of control, right? Your intervals. And so, you know, if you're not on a strict fungicide program and you're really trying to dial in intervals, then yeah, I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay.
It kind of reminds me, there was a Helena product called Smoke that was absolutely crammed down my throat one season and one season alone. By the way, that was the same sales rep that tried to kick my ass at the school that one day. But it was, they called it an activator, an herbicide activator, and he wanted me to run it with with my pre-emergence, and I would not buy it. And anyway, I guess that was the start of our tumultuous relationship that lasted for 6 months.
Okay, I got to add in one more wrinkle to surfactant or no surfactant.
Okay.
Okay, for me, a little bit of a spreader type of a surfactant is beneficial because oftentimes I'm running what's known as air inducted nozzles to do the spray.
Sure.
And so when I have that little bit of that spreader type surfactant in there, what happens is that the big bubbles of liquid that are created by the air inducted nozzle then land on the turf, burst, and then that burst bubble then proceeds to completely cover the leaf surface. Versus if I use an air inducted nozzle without a surfactant, what can happen is I can get very spotty coverage.
Sure.
So it depends because I'm pretty sure if I were to use, say, a conventional T-Jet XR nozzle rather than the AIC or the air inducted disc cores, then I would see different results because an XR nozzle at pressure produces extremely fine droplets where you're probably not going to have a coverage issue.
There we go.
Caller, are you still there?
Mhm.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Who do we have the pleasure of speaking with? Look
Awesome.
at that, rolling from one right into the other.
Yes, sir. Yeah, my name's Jason. I'm 19 years old.
Hey.
I'm a lawn care operator here in North Carolina. Sorry, I'm super nervous right now, but
You're
Dude,
fine,
hey,
I
man.
just wanted
You're
to,
fine.
doing just
I-
fine. Don't worry about it.
I just wanted to call in and tell you guys thank you so much for everything you do for the community and especially myself. I mean, if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't have taken the long treacherous depth into doing what I do now, and I absolutely love it. And thanks to you guys, I've come to have a complete passion for this and apply to go to school for this.
Where
I got
are you going to go to
accepted
school?
I got accepted to Penn State and also NC State. I haven't made up my mind yet, but
Yes.
um,
Yes.
yeah. So I mean, and
Go
you too,
Wolfpack.
Ray. I mean, you got me so hooked on this. I sit on the toilet and read labels. So I mean, it's a fun time. So I just
You're
wanna tell you
there.
guys thank you.
Yes, you are
Hey.
there. Oh my God, you said the magic fucking words, man. You said the magic words. When you spend your time on the dumper reading labels, you have crossed the threshold into obsession territory. And God love you for
Yeah.
it because there is no turning back, buddy. You are going to have a long, successful career in this industry. God love you for it. Man, that is fucking exciting.
I'm
No,
pumped.
I
I
appreciate it.
Seriously.
yeah, I'm really excited because Jason, I run into so many people where they have not seen anything past the outside cover of a product label,
Yeah.
and I want to kill them for that. It's like, read the dang label, okay? Read the dang label because
So much good
that'll
information.
tell you a lot. Yeah, it's good information, and reading the label will often help you prevent catastrophe.
Well,
Exactly. I mean, I'll tell you, like last year, the company I work for, I won't say who it is because I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what people are listening. But I mean, reading the label has saved me so many times. I mean, and I've heard DeMay say this, and every time I'm at the back of my truck about to mix up any product, whether it's a herbicide, an insecticide, or a fungicide, or anything, I always pull that label up on my phone and read it. And I always think back to this one show. I think it was a burn and return, I think it was the burn and return where somebody
Mhm.
sprayed glyphosate. Some company sprayed glyphosate on some 100 yards or something like that.
cut and kill.
And
Cut and kill.
Yep.
They did what they said
Yep,
they were going to
yeah.
do. You got to give them credit, Jason. You got to give them credit. All right. I'm
Yeah,
sorry to interrupt. Go on.
And DeMay, no, you're good. And DeMay talks about how every time before he ever does anything, he always reads the label, no matter what he does, and no matter how many times he's messed with the product, whether it's Celsius and he's spraying it at 0.113 ounces a gallon, or he's spraying speeds on at an ounce a gallon. It doesn't matter what he's spraying. He always reads the label, and that's like the number one thing I've always taken away from it. I mean, and we had a guy last year spraying a Celebrate, and he mixed for armyworms, of course, and he sprayed an entire bottle of it out of a 100-gallon tank, and he got in a lot of trouble
Lord.
for that. And,
Oh
yeah,
Lord.
and he got in a,
Hey,
got in a
Billy,
lot of
we're going to
trouble
need you
for
to do
that,
$2,000 tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just
Steve, I've got 47 lawns on my route. Yeah, you remember all that Aceleprint you sprayed, you asshole? You got to make it up.
You got 94 now. So all right. So okay, go ahead.
yeah.
Go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, it just always thinking back to the stuff you guys talk about. I mean, it's just it's honestly, because I'll say this too, and I'm not trying to be boastful or anything, but at the company I work for, there's only two other individuals, being my boss and my manager, who have their pesticide license, and over the wintertime I wanted to go get it, so I told everybody, hey, I'm going to take these 2 days off of work and I'm going to go get my license. And everybody kind of looked at me like I was crazy and like, well, you don't need a license. What do you need a license for? You're at work. It's work. Why would you want to go do more than what you want to do? And I don't know. I don't understand the mindset behind not wanting to learn more about what you do, and especially this industry and in the green industry in general. I mean, it's a deep dive, and once you make that dive into it, it's just it's addicting. It really is. I mean, I've never done drugs before, but I feel like I do drugs every time I walk out on a yard. I've amped up.
This is drugs. That's exactly what lawn care is drugs. Ask my wife.
You're looking at
She's like,
these three
put the
people?
meth down. I'm like, it's not meth, it's lawn care.
This is all three people that are like lifelong addicts. We are like the Mick Jaggers. We'll be 80 years old, and you're like, man, that guy took a lot of drugs, but he's still ticking. I don't know how, but he's here. That's us.
You know what? You know what? In 30 years, I'm going to be the old fart that's probably still mowing. Okay? I'm going to be that guy. Because on this panel, I am the oldest one. So 80
Can you
is
picture
not far
Ray?
away.
Can you picture Ray being 80 years old, hoisting his GM 1000 out of the back of his truck, and like some neighbor being like, "Oh, excuse me, sir, can I help you?" And you know how ornery Ray is. He'd be like, "Get back and do not touch my fucking mower, you asshole. Do not even look at me. Don't look at the yard. Don't even walk in the grass. Get off my lawn." I can hear him now. And whoever it is that goes out is going to be like, I'm just mortified.
I did
want
to ask though, is there any advice you could give to me to maybe push me further than what I'm doing on my own? I mean, anything extra I can do to become better? I mean, I hate to sound very corny when I say this, but I want to be the absolute best person that could absolutely do it. I mean, and I don't know. I always try to be the best in whatever I do. And,
yes,
I mean, listening to you
as
guys
you
makes me wanna do
should.
it, so.
I'll tell you this as a start.
Go ahead. I've got
I'll circle
other
back.
stuff.
I'll circle back in a minute too, but I just want to say this off the cuff is that the reason that the three of us are so different but yet very much the same is that we all have our own way of doing things, but we all have this desire to learn more, to do better, and to push right and make mistakes. Just get into a point where it's okay to make mistakes. You're gonna make mistakes. You accept that, right? You have that radical acceptance that, hey, bad stuff's gonna happen. How do I learn from it? How do I get better? How do I kill a football field, like Matt did with the top dressing, and come back from it? How do I spray Bermuda field with quinclorac and fucking nuke it 2 weeks before it's on ESPN? I mean, we've all done some shit, and I think that's the thing is that if I'm going to start off with one thing is that it is try hard, but don't beat yourself up too much, which is very difficult to do if you want to be the best, but you got to try hard, always give your best effort, but not beat yourself up when things don't go your way, because we're literally trying to harness nature, and it's not the easiest thing to do sometimes. All right.
Yep. And I was going to say, never settle for what you think is good. Always go for great, right? So if you are impressed with the results of something, try to get even better results. And again, that's going to lead you to the point where you end up killing grass, and that's perfectly okay. Also, step outside of your comfort zone. And that means even if you need to get experience on a baseball field or a softball field, volunteer your damn time. Go to a local high school, talk to a coach, ask to drag mat a field, ask to whatever, mow the football field, whatever it is you got to do to step outside of your comfort zone from just lawn care to get experience in that field. And then the other thing I would say too is learn trees and shrubs. Learn trees and shrubs, because eventually at some point you're going to come. What's that?
That's what I started out on, actually. I started in tree and shrub, and then I now do tree and shrub, a whole route in tree and shrub, and then an entire route in turf.
Good. And
for you.
here's and I don't know, and I'm going to say this, that when I started as a tree shrub tech at True Green, and there was a lot of things I had to unlearn from that experience. So don't worry about having to unlearn, rewrite, recode, step outside the box. Sometimes if that means grabbing a bottle of concentrate and putting it on your truck to be able to mix something at a label rate in your backpack, push yourself outside the boundaries of your comfort zone. Always achieve for something better. Learn trees and shrubs way, way beyond what they teach you. Try different things with trees and shrubs. Like, for instance, I came to the conclusion that imidacloprid increased spider mite populations one time, and I did that purely through experimentation, and it's something that Ray and I have talked about since then, and he kind of co-signed my bullshit on it, and then we ended up uncovering studies on it. So pay attention, write things down when you see wild things out, and write down bizarre customer interactions, right? Because the further you go along into this, and you've probably experienced to this point where a customer is going to blame you for something, but half of what being a good technician is being a good detective as well, right? And whenever you think you've experienced all, you're always going to experience something else. And when that happens, write it down so it goes somewhere in the memory bank, and it's one more item that you can roll through your checklist as you're playing detective, the technician detective, while you're out there. So those would just be my only things I'd recommend. What about you, Ray?
Well, I think the two of you largely covered it, and what I'm going to add to this is keep your eyes open, and also work with this thought. Just because everybody else does it, don't make it right.
Yeah.
And that has been kind of my guiding principle in my 30 years of doing this, is just because everybody does it, don't mean that it's right.
I'll just wrap up with this piece is you will not do this alone. As much as you want to, as much as you think you'll try and everything like that, as bad as you want to be the best at it, you will not do this alone. This is, there's plenty of industries, there's plenty of jobs, all that kind of stuff out there, but this is a relationship business. The people that are truly the best at their craft in this business are ones who share, ones who take the time to help out somebody else. And you know what is be both of those, right? Be somebody who's going to help no matter what, even if you think that you're, however you view yourself, right? Oh, I'm 19, I don't know anything. That's bullshit. You know something that you can teach somebody, right? So use that mindset, and also surround yourself with good people. Matt has said it before. I never thought of it that way, but Matt has said it before, and it's made an impact on me that, we get on here and talk. I had a terrible week. I'll be dead honest with you right now. I'm going to open up here. I had a terrible week. Tomorrow's not going to be much better, but I looked forward so much all week to getting on here and rapping with these guys, just because I know, hey, like, they're trying just as hard as me, and it's an opportunity to share, to learn, to get better, and I love it. And so I'm glad you're a part of it. I'm glad you called in tonight. Don't be nervous. We're just three jackoffs. We don't know any better, right? We're just, we've like I've said this before here. We've just killed enough turf in our lives, collectively and respectively, to earn the right to get up here and talk on YouTube about turf in a very frank manner.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
Jason,
and I don't know
seriously,
why I was nervous.
go ahead.
Because
Don't worry about it.
I've listened to you guys for over a year now. I literally listen to you every day. I've listened to every episode you've done with Ryan North. Ray, I've even gone on YouTube and watched. There's a video on YouTube of you doing a presentation in Hawaii from like 2012. I've watched that.
Yeah, you see.
I've listened to every lawn care help desk that Matt has ever done, all the whiteboard videos, and I feel like I know you guys like personally. And I don't know. I was just very nervous when I first called, because it's almost like when you meet like your like when you meet like a superhero when you're a little kid, and you're super nervous because you watch them on the TV, but you never meet them. That's kind of how I was when I first called.
Hey, are you going to the Equipment Expo in Louisville this year?
I want to. I got to see if my boss will let me take it off. Sadly.
Well, give us your boss's email address. Send it to us. We'll email him collectively, and we'll tell him, listen, Steve, he's good. Jason's good for it. You know, he's going to go up there and learn how to make you some more money. So, you know, get the fuck off his nuts, all right? I mean, maybe we won't put it that way, but
get off his nuts. You know,
we'll be very kind and polite and professional.
Human, okay?
You know, the skills that we learned after our 20s. Well, actually, no. I think I went backwards after my 20s, but
you know,
Matt, will be very nice and professional. And we will, if you can make it, we will give you a free ticket to our live show as well too. So we want to invite you to come and be a guest with us and hang out. And we will not let you drink alcohol. I'll tell you that right now. But you can eat all the food you want, and you can enjoy all the conversation you want. And I don't know, I might arm wrestle you. Who knows? I get into that.
I appreciate it, and you will absolutely beat me. I weigh 130 pounds. I'm built like a figure. So.
And then you and Ray will arm wrestle, and I'll stand in the sidelines and laugh.
Oh Lord! I mean,
seriously,
that might not end well, Matt. That really might not end well.
I know. Jason, I sent you a text message on the number you called in at. I'm dead serious. Send us your boss's email, and we'll email him and put in a good word and see if we can't get you some time off to further develop your skill set, and hopefully, you know, we'll see you there, and you know, maybe we can do something for you to help you take your career to the next level as well too.
Well, I appreciate it. I thank you guys so much, and I'll definitely take you up on that.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you, sir. You have a good evening.
Yes sir.
Awesome.
You guys too. See ya.
Bye.
Wow.
You know, there are certain things that really hit you, and you know, we get up here and we talk a lot, and to me, and I've said this before, YouTube to me is very therapeutic, right? Because I get a lot of shit going on in my head, and I don't really have anybody that I can talk to about it because it's so nuanced towards a very niche industry, right? And so, you know, Ryan and Ray are two guys that I can really cut up with about it because there's a certain level of understanding there, you know? And to hear that our conversations, which for me is just like vomiting the sins of my week out into the open world, could have some sort of positive influence on someone else to want to move deeper into this industry. I mean, that is unbelievable. I can't wrap my mind around that.
I mean,
This is something incredible for me. And oh, by the way, the other month I got a strange email from an aunt of mine, and she said, "Oh my God, Ray, what are you doing on YouTube?"
What are you on? Why are you on that? Why are you on the YouTubes with that guy that keeps shouting cocksucker?
No, it wasn't that.
With love. I'm not taking a shot.
Yes.
With love.
No.
It's a bad.
It was actually the
I like the
presentation
bike
that I
people.
did on
Oh, thank God.
grassy weed removal. And she said, "Damn!" She was like, Ray, you are published and famous." She said, "What?" It was like, I said, "Yep, I am." You know?
Isn't that, dude? I don't know. That was well. I don't know. We can wait for some calls, but I'll riff on this for a second. Is it always weird? Like Matt, I know your dad is still a very talented engineer. You know, Ray, I know you learned a lot from your father. I certainly did about growing up, but like, you know, your parents walk out the door in the morning and they go do shit, and who knows, like they're probably doing some amazing shit, you know, and you have no idea. Like they're just gone. They come home and they, you know, like fucking pot roast with you right next to you, and it's like, you know, they could have done something really, really cool that day. And I think that's the weird thing is that, you know, it's the same vibe where we sit here and just talk, and people have no idea what we do all day, but then it's amazing shit. So anyway, who's oh
what in the
we got a call?
world
No,
was
no,
that?
we got
waiting?
yeah, it was two calls coming in at once. We got one.
Oh boy. All right.
Oh, caller, you're live.
Hey, hello everybody. Second time listener, first time caller. How are y'all?
Doing
good.
great. How's everything down in Tejas?
Everything's beautiful in Texas. I'm at a block party, and Love My Lawn gave me his phone and told me to call in.
Oh.
Hey,
Yeah,
actually, you
so
know
I-
what?
I-
I just got this message sent to me. It came in my email from Porno Moving Phone, and Deep Dicking Derek Debbie Does Dallas is actually playing at the Dallas Pornoplex 8. It's actually coming up at 10 p.m. Central, so if you hustle, you can probably make it over there. I just want to tell you though, that when you put the movie butter on there, that ain't movie butter, pal. All right, be careful.
Oh no.
Be
Hey,
careful.
why
Yeah,
can
look-
Aldo not play Uno?
Because he's always got the green cards.
Oh,
Listen,
yikes.
listen.
Yikes.
So Derek will leave me miscellaneous notes, and if it's not Derek, it'll be friends of Derek leaving me miscellaneous notes in orders. So someone orders something from Brian Knorr, right, and it gets dispatched to my dashboard. I will see the customer notes because sometimes it'd be like, leave package at back door or whatever, and I'll have to make that note to UPS. And Derek always leaves me jokes in the notes, right? And his latest joke that I copied and pasted in the Discord was, why can Aldo not play Uno? Because he always steals the green card. And it was 7:00 in the morning, and I had slept like 4.5 hours the night before, and I read that and I burst out laughing, and I was so ill prepared to laugh that hard that it absolutely made the rest of my day. So thank you, sir.
Oh, well, you're welcome. But actually, this isn't Love My Lawn, Derek. I'm just using his phone. I'm next door to him. And he told me to
my
call
fault.
in. So yeah, I wanted to tell you
Is
a
this
little something. So I hang out with Derek all the time. We get drunk, we get jacked up and stuff. So he told me about a lawyer that's on y'all's that's like in y'all's like forum or something. I don't know if it's like Peloton or Patreon or something like that. He was telling me
Yes.
about, and so I found that. So his name was Jesse or something like Jesse B. Yes, he was a sweetheart. So, because me and my wife, we're middle aged, and we need to get a will. We got a couple of kids, and so so he hooked me up, and I contacted this Jesse guy. He's up in like Massachusetts or something way up there, And so I called
Canada.
Jesse. Man, he's a sweetheart of a guy. He worked out the will. Got my estate planning done. We're all good. Everything's right, and he sent me the final forms and stuff, and I'm looking at them, and I'm like, you know what? I need to add in one more thing. So I called Jesse. He answered, right off the bat. And I said, Jesse, here's what I need to add. I need it to be fine print, but I need it to be done. And he said, hey, and he said, yeah. Oh, by the way, my name is Kane Rosso. So, yeah. So, if you want to look me up, just Kane Rosso in Texas. Yeah, we're good. I can't see very good because I got some chemicals sprayed in my eyes a few years ago, but that's another story for another time.
Did you
Anyway.
mix that up in the kitchen? Oh.
Yeah, my name, yeah, Kane Rosso, so if you ever need anything. So anyway, so I contacted Jesse, and he hooked us up with the wheel, and I called him back, and I said, all right, well, I need this kind of in fine print, because I need this done. He's like, all right, well, what do you need? And I said, well, when I die, I want to be cremated, and I want my wife to cook a batch of chili and put my ashes in that chili and eat me. And he just went silent. And I was like, oh, and he was like, went silent for about a minute. I said, Jesse, you there? He said, well, yes, Kane Rosso, but why do you want your wife to cook a batch of chili and then put your ashes in it and then eat you? And I said, so I can tear that ass up one last time.
Man. Yikes!
Kane Russo, everyone. Who's gonna tear it up? One last time.
Big Dog Derek does WW's House, 10:30 at the Dallas Pornoplex 10. Get there.
304-804-7277. 304-804-7277. 304-804-7-ASS is the number if you would like to call in. Or you can ask a question in the chat and we'll do our best to answer it. Our Discord is intense.
It is.
Caller, who do we have the pleasure of speaking with?
Did somebody beep in?
Caller, who do we have the pleasure of speaking with?
Someone wants to know if this is a safe place to talk.
There is nothing safe about what you've called
follow
into.
the watering ban. Only if you followed the watering ban and haven't beaten up the water department too bad. Yeah, we can talk.
I'm illegally watering my front lawn right now. I need guys to get to the corner. I need a hootie hoo. If you see the police,
yeah. What's the safe word? Oh wait, you know what the safe word is, guys? Centipede.
Centipede.
All right, what do you got for us, Lushy?
Talk to me, Lushy.
All right, so I wanted to call and pick the brains of the three wise men here about what's going on for us. And I know there's probably a few people in the Northeast probably dealing with this, and probably across the country. We're in a massive drought. So we just got told it's coming out Saturday for our town that we will be in a complete and utter water ban, no hand watering other than your vegetable garden. That's it.
Yeah. Dang.
Recently, this past watering ban that was in effect was you're actually only supposed to water by hand after 5 p.m., before 9 a.m. People are still running their sprinklers. And if you were blatant about it, the police were showing up and knocking on the door and saying, hey, if we come back, we're going to have to fine you. No in-ground irrigation. So I know I've posted a few videos of a little drive-bys through some neighborhoods on Dirty Deeds of some pretty roached lawns, which is really, it is evident when you drive around, you can tell who's still running the irrigation, who's not. And I would say 95% of the lawns in our greater area are dormant. Now, not everybody is in that situation. Some have wells, and that's fine and dandy. So I'm really just curious as to what your thoughts are and plan of action might be to come out of this drought with, I guess, a fall renovation that might be delayed. One thing I saw from Cornell University was talking about using wetting agents to help hydrophobic soils introduce some water into it. And I guess, how close would you guys push it to the window for seeding?
Okay. So my first opinion on this is, well, let me ask this. When you seed in the fall, are you going to do any cultivation? So whether that be mechanical aeration or slit seeding?
Majority are, I would say, like 95% are core aeration. The other 5% would be a slice seeder, probably in combination with core aeration.
So then I probably would not spend the money on a wetting agent. Since you're already going to be doing cultivation, manipulating soil, I think that's going to give you everything you need as long as the rainfall returns to get the kind of germination you need to regrow those areas. So that would be my opinion, and that's going to be from the cheap-ass high-volume lawn care opinion. I'll let everybody else give you theirs.
All right. If I was in this situation, the first thing I would do is start prioritizing and categorizing my accounts based on who has irrigation, who doesn't have irrigation. And the second thing would be who really needs seeding and who doesn't really need seeding. And what I would say to this is on the hell yeah. On the irrigated
Hell yeah.
side, yeah, it was like well timed too. On the irrigated side, right? Those folks are going to be able to water, right? If the water ban's lifted. Now, who knows what that takes to get to that point, right? But they're going to be in the best possible category to have success, right? With doing a traditional fall seeding, even if it's a little bit later. So I think those ones might be okay to go a little bit early. As far as a wetting agent on those, I wouldn't be too concerned. I think, there's ways to play around with that and manipulate the timing a little bit to work in your favor. If you want to go early on the unirrigated lawns, using a wetting agent of some type, I think anything that's a liquid and you're timing up with the rain is great, but I think you're in the case that it's going to be very, very difficult to do that. And so you could look at some different things. One thing would be a granular wetting agent, which is going to give you a little bit of help, a little bit of reprieve. It's not going to be cheap. You're talking about probably 140 to 160 a bag. Use rate somewhere between 2 and 3 pounds per thousand. So use that wisely.
We use in turf fuel for about $40 a bag.
Oh wait, let me look that up.
Turf fuel is a moisture magnet, and that's granular.
Hell yeah.
All
right. So the other thing too, I would be strongly considering on your non-irrigated, more so than the wetting agent route, would be, and this goes into next year, I would be looking at a dormant seed.
So that was going to be my follow-up question to that. What your guys' thoughts are on dormant seed?
I'm okay with dormant seeding. I think the thing that you have to time up and be careful about is, one, setting really good expectations, because you might see a little bit, but you ain't going to see shit until really the following April, May, before it really gets going and shooting. Other things that you have to take into account, you're going to have seed attrition losses, right? Somewhere in the 20 to even 50% range, depending on your winter, and you need to be careful with that. You can play around, do different things with, covers and things like that. If it's high profile areas, that's not a discussion for right now, but there's things you can do to manipulate that and make it go in your favor a lot more, especially on a dormant seed. All that being said, I think right now, the thing to do is to manage those expectations, divide up your accounts, figure out who needs what, who's irrigated, who's not, and then look at those individual situations and say, okay, hey, if we get a 1/4 inch rainfall, even though this is unirrigated, it'll survive, right? And continue to be dormant and not be completely dead. So, tough spot. I'd be leaning more on putting my eggs in the irrigated basket and hoping that the water ban gets lifted and you're able to irrigate and get those clients up and running. And then the non-irrigated folks, that you can do a later seeding, maybe go a little bit heavier in your rye, something like that, a little bit more tall fescue, and get that stuff up quickly. Or the final option is dormant seed. And then the only thing you're going to have to mess around with is no pre-em and an early post application next year for pre-emergent.
Right. Paul's Prime Cut said use appropriate rates of tenacity for your
Thanks,
dormant
Paul.
seeding.
That makes me feel better.
Yeah.
I can't comment on dormant seeding because you have such a totally different winter than I do, right? Because normally when I say I get out with the late seeding, right, in November, in February, typically I'm seeing that germinate, and normally like there's going to be like a week or two in December where you're going to see it start to come up too, and then it starts to really fill in by February, and by March it looks like it was seeded in the fall, right? So it's going to be difficult for me to make that recommendation when you're not going to be fully filled in until like May, right? It's a different thing. So I don't know what to say about that.
Well, that's all you have.
And it all depends on our spring too. I mean, like we have a warmer spring, things pop, and this year we had a very delayed spring. It was just weird, cool stuff. Just kind of. That's right. Hell yeah. It was just a delayed start this year. So, I mean, who knows? And now winters could be, 2 feet of snowpack on the ground, or we could have,
That wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
30 to 50 degrees in February. You just don't know what's going to happen.
If you're doing early dormant seed, snowpack is your friend. I'll tell you that. If you don't have a lot of snowpack, and it doesn't look like it's going to get cold, wait, throw that stuff down in like January, February thaw, and you'll have much better results.
Right.
Somebody asked about AquaAid with polyoxyalkyline polymers, if it's any good. Yes. Polyoxyalkyline polymers are that's a legitimate polymer. So you're good with that product, in my opinion. What else, Lushy? Talk to me, bad boy.
Yeah. No, just kind of, everything is kind of just getting stalled out. I mean, we just ran around, and just to kind of keep busy and make face, we went around and spot sprayed everybody. And I actually thought it was a great idea to let Shane use some blue marking dye and enjoy the wonders and all that it teaches, which is actually good. For the customer, they know he was there. There was no and we don't even charge for the spot spray. We just went around, we do it, we send him an invoice for nothing. But you don't get that. Was he here? I made him deuce it up, and it's blue. You can see it. But it taught him a little better handling practice, as, he's like, shit gets everywhere. I go, yep. And in that is chemicals. Yep. You're used to seeing stuff that's clear. You got to, remember that. Like that, if you're blue everywhere, you're not doing it right.
Yep.
So
that's exactly right.
As a little bit of a learning, there's always you can always learn something. So kind of did it in that fashion. I think we're gonna we were gonna go out for our next round, so to say, in a couple weeks. I think we're gonna have to probably push that back because things are dormant. But with that said, I think, Matt, you said it's good to have some fert down when grass comes out of dormancy because it wants something to grow, correct?
Depending on what the temperature is going to be when it comes out of dormancy, but we're heading towards a cooling trend. So yeah, I mean, if you're going to be in really good growth probability and you're coming out of a period of it being absolutely shut down from being dry, then if you've got the rainfall starting to kick up and you get a little fertilizer, that's just the faster that you're going to grow out all that damage, or at least all the damage that can be grown out. And chances are that 80-90% of it's going to grow out and look fine again. So we had the big drought here when Gatlinburg burned down, and I was actually stunned at how much grass survived that. But it was impactful enough, and what's strange about it was that the local Department of Agriculture said, I'm sorry, I said Department of Agriculture. I'm thinking the Extension Office said, it was going to affect trees over the next 5 years, and so kind of interesting that it had that much impact on the trees. But the grass, I would still say 80% of it managed to pull through once we did start getting rain at Thanksgiving again.
We're actually starting to see defoliation on small ornamental trees and larger trees as well.
Yep.
They're starting to shed their leaves. I just drove past a row of pear trees, rapid pears, all have yellow in the middle of them. There's a locust tree around that is just, you pull up to the intersection and you would think it's the middle of October. It's raining leaves. You can hear them coming down.
Good luck to you, Lushy.
It's gotten a little dry. I guess the aeration, I'm sure people will call. They're going to want it done. So, and then we have customers who have wells, and they're full force. Let's keep going, and they're pumping it. So, a large majority are in town and are under the ruling of what's going on. So, it's severe. Like, I mean, I work for the water department, so I hear the backside of, I think the city uses 5 to 6 million gallons a day or something like that. and they're having a problem trying to actually pull it all in.
You need to maybe invest in a desalination system and just go get you a cooler full of water a day and run it through your desalinator and drink it. I don't know. Take a what do they call it?
I'm ready to put a bucket
shower.
It's hot as hell up here too, so I'm ready to put buckets underneath the air conditioner so we can start drinking water.
Cold water too, right? All right, Lushy. Good luck out there. Let me know how it goes. I feel for you, buddy. I really do.
I appreciate the advice.
All right, have a good one,
guys.
All right, we'll see you. All right, we have time for one more call. If you would like to call in, 304-804-7277, 304-804-7277. That's 304-804-7-ASS. You can call in. We have a question in the chat here. It says, could you all discuss the issues of applying ammonium sulfate at a low rate, greater than 1 pound per thousand, to lower soil pH on an established lawn? We'll get to that after we take this call real quick. Caller, you're live. Who do we have the pleasure of speaking with?
My name's Eric.
How you doing, Eric?
Eric.
Doing good. How about you?
I'm doing wonderful.
Good to
How
hear.
can we help you?
So
this evening?
I've got I moved to St. Louis from northeastern Ohio a few years ago, and recently bought an 1.5-acre lot, built a new house on it in 2019. So I came from a family of lawn people, and I think I probably had Matt's dream job when I was younger. I worked for a prick of an older brother who mowed cemeteries, and I was a weed eater. So that was pretty fun.
You're giving me anxiety just empathizing with you.
Yeah, that was. But anyway, we're lawn people. So when I got out to St. Louis, I did never had a yard of my own before, so I did a little research on what do I need to plant. The conclusion I came to in the transition zone is you can plant whatever the hell you want. It's all gonna suck. So I did some more research and based off of my experience in Ohio, I said, well, I'll go Kentucky bluegrass. That's my favorite grass. That seems like good grass. Let's see what happens. As being just a cheap bastard in general, I said I can do it all myself. Ended up taking on more than I should have in the house as well. So by the time I got to the yard portion, I was tired and broke. So the renovation or putting the yard in had some gaps. We can say that.
Sure.
Ended up going just to the local co-op and he of course said, what do you need, son? I said, some lawn seed. He said, you want our 5-way fescue? I said, no, I want something with bluegrass in it. I kind of looked around for a while and eventually did find something. And as I'm sure you guys can guess, non-irrigated yard in St. Louis looks like hammered ass in July and August. But it actually looks pretty good in the cooler months. So I guess my question is should I keep beating my head against this wall and give it more time since I've only been working on it 2 years, or should I drop back and punt and do something different?
I mean, that's a loaded question. Eric, I'm going to ask you the question I ask everybody. It's a great icebreaker. If I gave you 3 consecutive months to pick in which your grass has to or could look like shit, tell me which of those months there are. 3 consecutive months of the year. June, July, August, pick any 3.
December, January, February. But I knew you were going to ask that question. And if you could ask me 3 months that I want it to look good, July 4th is my Super Bowl. That's the big party.
Ray,
July
we figured it out.
Is what?
Yep, we figured it out. Do you know
Ladies
what
and
Ryan
gentlemen,
and I are going to say?
We got him.
Yeah, we got him.
Yeah.
Got him.
Lay it on him, Ray.
What you want is you literally want a Bermuda lawn, and if it going brown on you in the fall and winter bugs you, paint the stinking thing green and move on, because for me, I cannot imagine anything more miserable than knowing that a lawn is going to be dead during 4th of July because it cannot deal with the heat. That would be misery for me. So,
Yeah,
and you know what the
it's
good
getting
thing
pretty
about
old.
Bermuda is? Yeah, you know what the good thing about Bermuda is that with a little bit of water and a little bit of nitrogen, Bermuda is absolutely dominating in July. Okay? That's just Bermuda. But the flip side of it is that come about, I want to say October, November, it's going to start going to sleep. That's just Bermuda. And if you're okay with that, fine. But if you're not okay with that and you or your other half has to have a green lawn in the fall, then this might not be good for you.
Just
But-
paint it, Ray. Paint it.
Or
Yeah.
overseed it with ryegrass. Come on. Let me hear some rye enthusiasts.
Hey, Matt.
Now,
I'm
here's
about
the
to-
thing:
I'm
to
about
transition to
Okay.
Bermuda, though. So what I'm hearing is that you're busting your ass on the house, you busted your ass on some Kentucky bluegrass, and now you got to double bust your ass on some Bermuda. I'm trying to think of the easiest, laziest way to introduce Bermuda into the Kentucky bluegrass, and then once it is a
Ooh.
bit established, using
Blue Muta? Are you
Monument. No. I was going to say some Monument to go ahead and knock out, zones of bluegrass, grow the Bermuda in, then a little bit more to knock out some more bluegrass. Look, listen, I'm not going to advocate anybody do Bermuda. That's just not my thing. I've seen some of it look okay. Mike's is definitely the best looking of the bunch, but it's also real mode, all the damn time. And so it's a lot of effort. And you've got what, an acre and a half?
Yeah, that's
Be
one of
tough.
them.
Be tall order.
Yeah,
It just makes everything a little
so-
trickier.
I think taking it in stages, getting an area established, maybe start with the front yard or something. I am a monument whore, by the way,
What-
Aldo, without a doubt.
What? Let's go back to the bluegrass. What specifically do you not like about it? Like, what is it? that
It's
really...
bluegrass in St. Louis. Watch turf culture.
Hey,
Yeah, I mean,
I watch it. It's,
it looks like Bermuda does in December, all of July. I mean, it's not even like looking. It's just fucking straw, like a wheat field. They got.
You gotta.
It's crazy.
I'll t-
It looks like a fire hazard, honestly.
I love you, buddy.
Listen. Anything you grow.
When
in
I
an
see
acre and a
fire
half,
hazards,
okay.
man, I tell you what, I get real happy with the lighter in my hand. I'm not gonna lie.
I was gonna say, yeah. Matt fires up a Winston and just goes out there and he's spraying all willy nilly. That's on the
I
double
guess
out for
it's
spite just comes out.
So that's one thing that's kind of the way that my house is situated in a lot. Like, there's no place to hide. Like, there's no like test plot area. It's all freaking visible. I'm like on a corner lot, so you can see all the way around my house from the whole neighborhood, which is good and bad or whatever. And so I'm afraid to introduce a little bit of Bermuda somewhere just to see what happens, because everyone tells me once you have it in your yard, you're better off trying to get rid of AIDS. It's going to just take over, and I guess I'm not committed quite yet.
Have you ever been on Magic Johnson's lawn?
Yes, I have.
Just asking.
Yeah.
Look,
He's got the.
there's pills you can take for that now, and you look, there's you can, yes, once it's there, no, you're not going to get rid of it. But here's the thing: is that you say there's nowhere. Yes, there is, because from the road, no one is going to be able to see your test plot that well, I guess. And even if they do, this is your opportunity to put a sign in front of your yard. And, you can write it to say anything you want, like a lunatic lives here or whatever, to keep the neighbors away. And look, there in turf culture just commented and said, iron cutter grower 10 minutes outside of St. Louis. Pick you up a couple squares of sod, and cut them in and watch what it does. And
Yeah.
I'm telling you, once you go Bermuda, you will not go back, and you'll really, really begin to question everything you learned about life because of how much you end up enjoying it. You're probably going to leave your wife. You're gonna kick your kids out. You're going to buy a Corvette, and you're going to start hanging out at the local high school. So you have at least that to look forward to.
Sounds like a blast.
I made that second part up. That was terrible. I shouldn't have said that.
Oh, fucking no. All right, are we ready? Let's wrap this up. Matt, tell us what about the after show.
Okay. Wait. Did we call him? We have not ended.
No,
the
we
call
didn't.
with
No, we didn't. I'm sorry. I was rushing.
Look, I
think
said
about that for a
something
second.
so terrible. Demay's like, you know what? That's it. I'm done.
We got to dump. We got to dump.
Seriously, taking into consideration, even if you start with the square, because the square is small enough to dig out, and even if you get a square sod and grow it in cups or pots or something to wrap your mind around it, because I'm telling you, your next best bet from Kentucky bluegrass would be tall fescue, but you're not irrigated, and so those summer months are still going to suck ass for you. If the 4th of July is your peak of where you want to be, and that's what you get down on is 4th of July. Right off next year's 4th of July as part of your grow-in process, and then the year after and the consecutive years after that, you will have the most insane, wonderful 4th of July parties. Your herbicide selection for Bermuda, your ease of management for Bermuda, especially in the St. Louis area, is just going to be exponentially easier than any of the cool season grasses. Again, I'm a Memphis kid. I know the weather patterns of St. Louis aren't that different than Memphis. Still gets super hot as shit there. You'll get warm just a little bit later than we do, and you get cool just a little bit earlier than we do. But it is screaming hot. And come midsummer there, that is when that Bermuda is going to look absolutely outer space good. So it is a commitment, and especially from someone from Northeast Canada. But if you play with it a little bit, I think you'll see the value in it, and it'll be less daunting. Start small.
Yeah, and the one thing you said was kind of introduce Bermuda and then kill the bluegrass. Do I understand that right?
Yes.
Or
unless
kill
you want
bluegrass,
to go all in on 90,000 square feet, which I didn't hear that from you, and that's why I didn't suggest that.
And that's kind of what's holding me back is that I don't have the political capital in the house to make a mud bowl again right now. So
start small, 400 square feet, and what you'll see is that in one season you can grow that 400 square feet to 4,000 square feet without effort. Like literally doing nothing. 400 square feet will cover 4,000 square feet, and then you're going to be like, wow. And it'll be the best looking part of your yard come summer.
100%.
Sound good?
All right. Sounds like I'm going to call. Sounds awesome.
Absolutely.
Dr.
Call
Andrew,
back
bad
again
idea.
sometime.
All
right. We before we get out of here, I said I would answer Tyler Peterson's question. He said, can you discuss the issues of applying aluminum sulfate at a low rate to lower soil pH on established lawn, and was also recommended using elemental sulfur? Do not use aluminum sulfate under any circumstances on grass. You can use it on hydrangeas. You can use it on azaleas. Do not use it on grass. That is a terrible, terrible idea. We are headed to the after show. If you're interested in learning more about that, that's where adults have adult conversation. There's going to be bad words. There's going to be intense topics. There is, it's not for the faint of heart, and that's perfectly okay. If you are of means and you wish to support that, be a part of that, whatever the case may be, you can check us out over on patreon.com. You can link up with our Discord, get access to us, get more personal access to Ray, to Ryan, and of course, the other members of the community that are just absolutely incredibly badass people over there as well. So thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch you on the flip side.